TikTok, you know, Clubhouse. Do you remember that? No one's doing that anymore. Do you know what I mean? And at the time, everyone was like, oh my God, I'm going to spend 15 years of my life just hanging around chatting.
I know.
You know, but unless you know what you're doing and you know there's a reason to do it, and you're, like you say, being strategic about where are your people? Are they using that platform? If they're not, don't get on it. It's no point. You know, and you know, I'm with you. I put stuff on Facebook, but the reach is rubbish. I don't like what the company's about anyway now. I think they've lost their way. LinkedIn for me, B2B, is much more where I'm at. YouTube, again, because of the goodness we'll talk about in a minute, you know. But anyway, but it's you've got to just be yourself. And also it's exhausting trying to be someone else.
I know. You can't, can we?
You've got to be, like you say, it's all about showing up every single day. I'm doing this amazing training where we're coaching at the moment with have you ever heard of Marissa Murgatroyd?
No, I haven't.
Live Your Message. No. Absolutely amazing. I'm not an affiliate, FYI. But anyway, so I'm involved in this sort of coaching thing at the moment, being coached by her and her team. And it is about that. It's about distilling the why, what you're doing, you know, and all the rest of it. And then it's choosing to use whichever channel works for you and your business. Rather than kind of going, oh, everyone's talking about Facebook ads, I'm going to spend loads of money on that because that's what everyone's doing. You know, it's sort of taking that step back a bit. Anyway, there you go.
Right then, Jeremy, you're going to have to write down in the comments how you spell her surname, because because Billy's asking, so you can write that down while I do this. We could rant on, and also look up the article if you're reading, listen to this. 1,000 true fans. Very interesting.
That is totally, totally.
Only 1,000 true fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like we could just talk for the whole hour about this.
Yeah, we should do a sort of some kind of ranting,
shouldn't we? You and I definitely for this. So everybody, I just guess back to my role here. Jeremy is here. Jeremy Mason. He's going to share his knowledge and insights based on 20 plus years experience in UK broadcast TV, as well as an obsession with digital marketing. And he's going to reveal how we can use the opportunities that YouTube offers to genuinely transform your business. So when used in the right way, YouTube is a phenomenally powerful platform to get your business and content out there in front of the right eyes. So if you create the right kind of valuable content for your defined and targeted audience, then you can leverage YouTube to create additional income streams for your business. I think this morning, you and I are the dream team. Just saying.
Yes, just saying, Simon. Just saying.
Just saying. We're not as sexy as these other people with their special schemes, but we've got the truth. That's what we're about.
Exactly.
Right, I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll leave you in the hands. You can share your screen. I think everything's good, isn't it? So
awesome. There you go.
You, Jeremy. Goodbye,
fantastic. Well, actually, do you know what? It was brilliant to have that little micro rant, because it really is all about really connecting on a genuine level, and that's why. I mean, if you've seen my previous presentation, my previous thing with Claire a few weeks back, which was much more about sort of the nuts and bolts of how to physically create the video itself. Ultimately, video is a vehicle, and it's a way of connecting with your audience. And obviously, there are strategies in terms of, like Claire was talking about, thinking first about who do you want to connect with, who your audience is, who wants to hear about what you've got to say. And the other thing as well, which is not really sort of specifically YouTube related, but I think it's a really, really important point is, and I saw some sort of chat kicking off, which is awesome. Everyone's experience is different. I am just trying to get the chat up. Here we are. And ultimately you could be offering the same service or the same product, but the way that you do it, and the reason that you're doing it, your why. And Simon Sinek, right? If you've not heard of him, you need to definitely check him out. He's an absolute I'm just going to type it in the chat, Simon Sinek, and it's find your why. I read that year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago now, that he did a TED talk, and it really you know, because I think before that I was very much sort of I got involved with Simon stuff and all the rest of it, and you know, it's very exciting online digital marketing. Well, I find it. I do need to get out more, but you know, there's so much potential, and obviously there's lots of different strategies and tools and channels that you can use, and all of this good stuff is very confusing. I found it very confusing. I didn't really know, you know, oh, am I going to do TikTok, or am I going to do this or that or the other? Where do you start? And actually someone pointed me in the direction of Simon Sinek and Find Your Why. I read that and I was like, oh, okay. So basically it starts with you. It starts with what you are about. Yes, John, the TED Talks are really, it's a fantastic, if you just YouTube or Google Simon Sinek, Find Your Why TED Talk, start there, right? Because that will really, really, it really distills like the essence and you know, how you can really start to think about who you are and what you're doing in a really, really concise way. And that is really critical because like I was saying, I'm, you know, doing this stuff with Marissa Murgatroyd, and she's fantastic. She's quite sort of, it's quite spendy, it's quite scary actually in terms of the investment side of it. But anyway, you know, it really is all about distilling down and sort of teasing out your unique, your USPs, but not in a sort of commercial horrible way, much more in a genuine way, because actually you know, there are elements of your character and elements of your values that won't necessarily change that quickly or at all. And there will be other people, like Claire says, that will share your values. And so it's really good to obviously, you know, find people that chime with you. They get you, and they get what you're about. And when you connect with those people, that's when the magic happens. It's all very well on a sort of superficial level, I suppose, to, you know, say the right thing because you know that's what the other person wants to hear, or, you know, try and kind of be a bit of a chameleon. But ultimately that is exhausting, and ultimately you will get found out. You will absolutely get found out because you can't be, if you're not being your authentic self, you know, it's only going to end in tears in the end. That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that. There you go. The YouTube channel is in, as the YouTube link is in the chat of the Simon Sinek Find Your Why thing. So let's start a conversation. This is not going to be death by PowerPoint, because I want your interaction. I want to actually really genuinely help you, and I want you to go away from this with actual action points you can go away and do. Okay, so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm investing my time with you guys. I want to help you. Let me know what business you're in, if you are in business, and how established you are in that business. And also just let me know where you are joining me from. Anwar, that's very good. Blogs, creates YouTube video aimed at people with anxiety and depression from a Christian perspective to promote her books in that genre. It's hard to market to pain points where the audience to pinpoint where the audience hangs out and the right keywords. Yes, absolutely. Because I actually am if you've got a YouTube channel, can you send me the link in the chat? Because I'll have a look at it and we can do a little channel review for you. Okay, and I can give you some pointers. That goes out to everyone who's here, anyone who wants me to, and it's not judgmental. This is obviously a learning thing. Okay, there's no right and wrong. You know, I'll share my insights into my 18 months of doing stuff on YouTube, and you'll be going, oh my God, you know, I've got about 200 subscribers, whatever. But even like I said before, even with that sort of relatively small amount of it's the right people though. That's the thing. You know, it's really genuinely has transformed my business in terms of the amount of people that are emailing me to work with me one-to-one. You know, obviously stores now as well, which is fairly well rehearsed, I'm pretty sure. You know, done a digital product which will be launching in June, so I could tell you more about that. There's a link I'll share with you if you're interested in that sort of thing. But all of that started with you know, doing some YouTube videos and sharing ultimately what I'm about and my skills and insights, and trying to get them out there so that I can genuinely help other people. I'm on YouTube. So basically, guys, could you send me the actual links to your YouTube channels? That would be amazing. And then we can have a little look. Yeah, that would be amazing. Digital cards and contactless marketing. Tunbridge, very good. Serena, thank you very much for that. We'll have a look at you. Oh, female self-defense tuition video. Do you know what's brilliant actually already looking at these is that you guys seem very dialed into your audiences, to what you know, because I think there's a very you know, as a business owner, you kind of want to go, oh yeah, I want to help everyone, but that's not the way you want to be doing it, to a very, very specific audience. For example, I'll lead by example. Okay. You know, I want to help business owners, okay, but I don't want to help just any business owners, because that's a massively wide niche, isn't it? Business owners, that's not really telling you anything. But I want to help business owners who want to make a difference, purpose-driven business owners, which happens to be, I think, the same sort of niche that you know, the same sort of people that like what Claire's about will hopefully like what I mean, those are the people I want to work with. I want to help people with video, with my insights and my expertise and stuff, skill them up, you know, get you guys really creating very, very dialed in and useful, valuable content that's going to help your audience and help the people that you work with, so that you can then benefit from that. You'll get growth in your business and you'll feel good because you are genuinely helping people and you're making the world a better place. That is why I do what I do, because if I just wanted to chase money, I could just go and work for Netflix and that would be amazing. But there's more to life than money, folks, isn't there? As we all know. Billy, yes, Ireland, disabled due to boat accident, don't have a business. Okay, cool. But I mean, you know, we're all at different stages of what we're doing and stuff. And there's this amazing thing that happens when you're on calls like this, that you may not be, you know, there as a sort of, oh, I've got a business and I want to know this, that, and the other, but actually you'll benefit from what's known as side door coaching. So there may be something that hopefully that we will talk about that will spark something off, Billy. So that's my hope for you, that you'll get inspired and you'll, you know, even if you've got some bits and bobs on YouTube, you know what, there will be people, it depends what you're wanting to do, Billy, right? But I know that there'll be a community of people, because one of my best friends is in a wheelchair, and, you know, silly things. I'm not suggesting you do this necessarily, but, you know, suddenly you think, well, when they go away for a weekend, it's not just like, oh, I'll just go and have a look on the internet and off I go and I book a hotel. It's much, much, much more, you know, involved in that, because you've got needs that other people don't have. So, you know, there's a whole thing. I mean, I've been talking to Neil, my friend, about this thing. It's so complicated. Is there not sort of is there not a YouTube channel for that? You know what I mean? Living with the, you know, with the your different sort of requirements that everyone, you know, you've got a story to tell, and there will be people who want to hear from, you know, your story. So if that's kind of your thing and you're happy to be on camera and tell people and talk to people about you know, your story, and then, you know, move that on in terms of, okay, I could help people talk about how to be, you know, the sort of how to travel about, and how to you know, find hotels that are wheelchair friendly, all of this kind of stuff. That there will be things that you are uniquely placed to talk about, because it's, you know, your experience, your lived experience, that someone like me, I don't know what you've been through. I don't know how it feels to do that. And actually, like Claire says, every single person's voice is valid. Every person's perspective is their own, like, film. It's their own, the movie of their life, right? So everyone is different, and every person's story is absolutely value, has intrinsic value. So I would encourage you to share it, because everyone, the more that we talk and communicate together, I think that that is a really good thing. It's a positive thing to allow other people to empathize and understand where you're coming from. That's a wider point, but, you know, don't let that be the fact that you've not got a business already, Billy. And actually also it's one of those things, I think, I mean, this is getting way not really to do with YouTube particularly, but just let it percolate, let these things percolate. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Anyway, I'm actually going to get on with the presentation now. Why bother with video? Because video is an amazing format. It's a brilliant way of building rapport and telling your story, and connecting with people that you know, it's brilliant to do it in real life, obviously, in a meeting situation or at a venue or wherever. It's fabulous to do that. But if you can't do that, video gives you the power to and the opportunity to connect with lots and lots of people and find the people that really resonate with your values and what you're about. It's almost like a sort of precursor to then, you know, in real life, like Claire's doing with her amazing, you know, community, like-hearted leaders, you know, then you start to meet in the real world and you deepen those connections. But video is a brilliant way of almost the sort of initial filtration situation. Obviously, text can do that, you know, blog posts can do that, but because we are visual animals, video is a tremendously powerful way of doing it. Anyway, let's look at the commercial side of it now. So e-commerce activity, you know, 85% of people are buying stuff online. 46% bought via mobile phone. So it's very much, you know, whatever you're creating in terms of digital assets, whether it's website or whether it's video, blog post, whatever, you must have that in mind. Yeah, make it easy for people to interact with your content, and more people will do that. You know, so, you know, in terms of priorities and stuff like that, and I found this with my own sort of research and things as well, is most sort of business owners are wanting to use video to generate more leads. The other thing I find a lot is that people are wanting to use video to establish themselves as the experts, the go-to experts. And it's interesting, Wistia are a sort of, it's a platform for creating videos, very good actually. And there are lots of reports that come out every year, obviously, as you can imagine, about sort of the state of video marketing, digital marketing generally. There is a distinct change happening, and that has happened and continues to happen, which is that video sort of 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, was a nice to have. You didn't necessarily need it. You could have a great looking website and it sort of would be okay. I have to say though, and this is what's given me a little bit more impetus in terms of what I'm doing, the mission that I'm on, is that, you know, the danger is that, well, Google are much more going towards video as a form, because they realize it's a lot more interactive, a lot more engaging, therefore, and ultimately all of these platforms like YouTube, like LinkedIn, Facebook, everyone, all they want is your eyes on their platform. It's about all of this stuff. It is a competition for our attention, for our time, because time is not a renewable resource. The most precious resource we have is our time. Okay, that's what they want. They want our attention, they want our time, they want us to be on their platform. Okay, so video is the whole sort of digital marketing thing is moving much more towards video, because it's very, very, like I say, very engaging. You can communicate an awful lot very quickly, and you know, it's just a brilliant way for platforms to keep people engaged. So it's moving from becoming a sort of like, oh, I might do 1 or 2 videos on my website, to actually it needs to be an intrinsic part of your marketing strategy if you are to succeed. And if you're not doing that, and one of the, you know, if the only thing that you kind of get out of this little presentation is, please, as a business owner, at least, if you don't do anything else, at least take time out to think about your marketing strategy and think about how you can use video within that marketing strategy, and then start to seriously think about, I'm not talking about, you know, commissioning me as a producer, as a video production company. That would be great if you did want to do that. I'm talking about investing your time and effort and money in getting yourself skilled up, so that you can create your own video content. Because ultimately, like Claire says, you need to be showing up consistently. Okay, so we're talking about, you know, for YouTube and things, well, really any platform, sort of Facebooky, LinkedIn or YouTube, you need to be there once a week, showing up all the time to keep yourself top of mind. Obviously Instagram, TikTok and all the rest of it, the more like throwaway type stuff, to Twitter, you need to be smashing out so much content. And depending on what you're doing and the audiences you're trying to reach, the people you're trying to reach, that's a lot of content you've got to generate all the time. Now, as a busy business owner, and like Claire was sort of saying, you know, a lot of us, me included, we are one person bands. So that's an awful, I could spend all my time just creating videos and not running my business. But that isn't, you know, that's not clearly a sustainable situation to be in. So it's about being targeted, it's about being strategic, and it's about being realistic and honest with yourself, frankly, about what you want to achieve in terms of the video stuff, and your business goals, and then actually allotting time in your diary to do it. And there are various things, there are various ways we can do it. We talked about batch producing in my last presentation, but yeah, like I say, I'm on an absolute mission to empower business owners and entrepreneurs to create outstanding content that will help inspire and engage, to drive their business, but also personal growth as well. Because I understand, and the more I, you know, it's and it's a really trite phrase, but we are all on a journey. And I think the more I delve into this, then the more people I help, the more people I want to help. And actually, you know, I could do my one-to-one consultancy, fantastic, love it. But what I want to do is, I can, as I say, because I can see the direction of travel where more and more video needs to be created by small businesses. Ultimately, small businesses are the engine of our economy, and we need that. Lord only knows, right? We need small businesses to really succeed and thrive, to get ourselves, you know, to a better place than we are right now in terms of a country, let's say. You know, I want to do what I can, and what I can do is try to skill as many people up as I can, starting small and ending up, you know, and being successful and all the rest of it. Every journey starts with the first step, and that's what I want to really inspire you to do today, in this case on the YouTube side of it. So 90% of customers say that product video helps them make buying decisions. This is just, you know, it underlining, if you like, that I'm not just banging on about the fact I like video because that's what I do for a living. It's actually proven. There are stats like this, there are loads of them, and they constantly, you know, every year on year, it's only going one way. 64% of consumers say that watching a marketing video on Facebook has influenced a purchasing decision. So, you know, you're starting those relationships, you're building rapport with people, you're telling them the story, you're doing it in a strategic way, you're doing it in a planned way. You've got, you know, you're creating videos that fit into a customer journey, which we'll talk about briefly later. Video users grow company revenue 49% faster year on year than organizations without video. Okay, so I think I've kind of labored that point enough. So what can video do? Well, it can obviously raise awareness. You know, it builds trust, which is critical. I mean, like we're saying in my micro rant at the beginning about those influencers and stuff, trust takes a long time to build up, and you can lose it like that if you're not true to yourself, if you're not authentic, and you're not trying to do good things well for people, genuinely wanting to help people out. Those are the people I want to work with. Okay, it's not about making a quick buck at whatever cost, because ultimately it'll all go wrong in the end. People find you out, karma's whatever, you know, it doesn't do anyone any favors if you're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes and be dishonest. Just do good things for good reason really well that's where I'm at. Okay, increase sales, absolutely. You do it, you create those amazing relationships with people on a deeper level. They will not just come back to you once and buy off you and then disappear. The idea is to create, like Claire was mentioning, 1,000 true fans. To get to build a sustainable online business, so entirely online, you need 1,000 true fans. So 1,000 people need to be engaged with your business, and then you've got something. You've got a business that you can that will succeed over the long term. that's obviously for an online only business. So for me, obviously I'm sort of online, but also I do things in the real world, if you like. You know, I've got nowhere near 1,000 people engaged with my content and doing, you know, and everything else. And yet, even at the small level I'm at right now, it's made a massive difference to my pipeline of people that are contacting me, you know, getting opportunities to do stuff like this, reaching people, helping people. It's brilliant. And the more you do it, the more motivated you get as a creator as well. Because like I said before, there are always going to be those moments where you're creating content, you put your time, your love, your effort into creating stuff. You put it out there and then no one watches it, and that's really dispiriting. But like I say, that's why you need to be dialed into why you're doing what you're doing. You need to be really, so you've got that thing to fall back on. You go, it doesn't matter that it's not worked this time, because it takes one video to go viral, or, you know, to really connect, and then it will get picked up by the YouTube algorithm and off it goes, you know. And also, every single person who's watching one of those views, it's a person who's taken time to spend watching your content. That's an amazing thing. You know, you should never lose sight of that. Let's have a little quick look at your comments, because I'm realizing I'm chatting along without actually looking at what you're saying. That's all good. You're being very interactive, and that is lovely. Carry on doing that. So let's talk about quickly the 4 pillars of effective video. So you need to really understand, obviously in a business sense, but also I would also argue actually in a personal sense too. What do you want to do? In a business way, you want to understand what you want your videos to do for do you need more clients coming in? Do you want to increase the cart value, i.e. how many times people buy from you and the value of those transactions? Do you want to establish yourself as a leader in your market? You know, what is it that you want to achieve? Audience, critical, right? Your tribe. Who do you want to talk to? Who are those people? Who do you want to work with? And also, I would say, if you're starting out, it's very easy. I've done this. I've been there. It's very easy to say yes to everyone and do stuff for people because you're chasing the cash. And you know what? There are seasons in business life where that will be the case. Totally get that. But ultimately, what I would say is when you're going to the effort and designing, if you like, your YouTube channel or starting to really sort of refine your content, think about your dream clients. Okay, don't think about the people that you are a bit of a pain in the bum to work with, because we don't want those in our lives. We want people that really align and get our values and actually see the value in what we do. Okay. So those are the people, those are the audiences you want to find where they are. You want to find what, you know, what do they read? Where do they get their news? What blogs do they read? You know, what events do they go to? Like Claire was saying, it's all of this stuff. And you start to build up a picture, a customer avatar, which I talked about actually in my last presentation. So if you need to know more about how to create a customer avatar, there'll be a link in a second, but you could always scoot off after this and check out my last Saturday school, because we talked about how to do that then as well. Investment, obviously, you know, this isn't just monetary, it is actually more, it's time. How much money does a new client bring into your business? Okay, and ascribe a time value to that too, and then work backwards, reverse engineer. If a client is worth £2,000 to you, well then it's worth spending a couple of days probably creating the kind of content that they're going to want to engage with on an ongoing basis. However, if a client comes in and spends 10 quid with you, well, obviously that's a different thing, and you're probably more into the volume game at that point, in terms of you needing more traffic to justify the time and the money you're spending on creating that content. Okay, so you just need to really understand that, and it's all about client lifetime value. How much one client coming in and they buy once, that's great, but actually what are you doing to make sure that those people come back time and again? Because it's so much easier to market to people who already know, like, and trust you. So those are the people, you know, it's very easy to get, again, distracted by, oh, you know, bring in 35 million new clients a minute type headlines from internet gurus, and you go and chase that and you go and buy their £3,000 course and whatever. But actually, if you've got a leaky sales pipeline, and you're letting people go through the net, actually it's better off, you're better off investing the time, really concentrating on plugging those gaps first, communicating with the people that know you, like you and trust you first, and getting and re-energizing those guys, than it is to chase new people. You know, because in terms of the people, it will take them a long time. Now, there are things called touch points. A touch point is a moment in time that you interact with someone, and it could be someone reading your blog post, or it could be someone watching your video, or whatever it is. That is a touch point. In the olden days, you need 7 sort of touch points before someone made a purchasing decision. So from someone not knowing you to someone walking into a shop, typically it would take 7 moments like that for them then to go, okay, cool, I really like you, I like what you're about, I'd like to buy from you. Now it's more like 20 to 30 touch points. Okay, so people are having to interact with, because ultimately there is a lot more noise online, you know, they're having to interact with a lot more content that you're producing before they'll make a decision to want to transact with you. Customer journey, what we're saying, what we're saying and when in the process. That's what that's all about. Right. So why should you bother setting video goals? Because every single video you do needs to be intentional. That's why it feeds back into this whole thing. If you know why you're doing what you're doing, it's so much easier to know about that, because everything you look at and you're looking at creating can be measured. You know, is this aligning with what I'm about? Is this going to help me get to where I want to get to? Is this going to help me move the needle? If it doesn't, don't do it. Okay. And is it chiming with my brand look and feel? Is it in tune with my values and how I want to present myself to the world? Yeah. The goals you set define the type of video you'll make. So you need to know what you're doing before. Don't wing it, because that makes you look really slapdash. Okay. You know, also think about when you're creating content. There's a great guy called Film Booth. I'll ping the he's lovely guy called Ed, and he actually does what I do but he's much more YouTube specific focus rather than businessy. You know, and he does this big 90% of what he says, and I agree with him. Actually, so much of the prep actually is so vital. Almost like the creating a video, the filming of it is the easy bit. Actually, what you need to be investing your time in doing is really empathizing with your audience. That's why getting to know your audience is so critical. But it's also about understanding what emotions do you want to stoke up within your audience when they watch your video. And this guy Ed from Film Booth, check him out, he's great. He's got a great delivery. I love he's quite sort of tongue-in-cheek, he's quite random. I really like him. Anyway, so you could, if you're interested in this kind of YouTuber-y stuff, check his channel out. But he goes to great pains to really almost sort of by the minute. You know, I've shown them this, I want my viewers to feel that. I've shown them that, I want them to then do this. Very, very analytical and very detailed. Then he goes and writes the script, then he goes and films it. So he puts, I mean, and that is, I'll be lying if I say I go to that sort of detail, because for me, because I'm not just talking about YouTube all the time, I'm actually really talking about how to make video work for business in a greater sense. Yes, sure, I share tips and tactics in terms of YouTubery, but it's not just, that isn't just my only focus. So I'm a bit more kind of generalist than that. But you know, you do need to invest a lot of time in thinking about what you're going to do before you do it. That's the point. Be specific and define measurable targets and timelines. So you know, I want to increase my subscriber count, but even that, I would say, what's the reason for wanting to increase your subscriber count? Do you see what I mean? So every business is different. But anyway, the point is, set measurable and defined goals and give them a time span over which you'll achieve them. Why do you need to know your audience? Well, basically because they are your clients potentially, aren't they? They are the underpinning of your business. Without understanding who they are and what their pain points are and the issues they have got that you can resolve and help them with through your products and services, how are you going to know that you're even speaking to the right people about stuff that they care about? It's fundamental. yeah, how do you know that you're offering them the right products or services if you haven't spent time going through with a fine-tooth comb and investing time and brain power in really understanding your audience? Now, once you've done that, you know, as you progress, and this is what I found, is that you really start to niche down, niche. You know, initially business owners was my thing, and then actually actually no, the people that I really can succeed with, help succeed, and I really love working for, are people, because you notice patterns, don't you, in what you do. And I was thinking, hang on, all the people that I love working with, all the businesses that I really enjoy working with, they have this one thing in common, which is that they are purpose driven. There's a bigger reason than just making cash to what they do. And I'm like, actually, that's what it is, because I'm like that too. That's what I'm, you know, yes, I would love, you know, you need money for your mission. There's nothing wrong in earning money. But actually, you know, maybe it's my age, I don't know, but you're sort of, what you're about sort of changes a bit, I think, as you get a bit older. I mean, obviously I am still 35, but you know, you want to help people. I think there's a legacy thing, I think, a little bit, without getting too sort of morbid and deep about it. But you know, that's what you need to be communicating too. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, the more authentic you are, and the more honest I think you are, you've got not, you need to look at video as a method of attracting people, sure, but also don't be afraid to repel people as well. And that's something that I found very, very hard when I started out in business, because the instinct is to go, I want to do business with everyone. I want to earn a load of money, you know, and you're trying to please, well, it depends on your character. I want to try and be liked by everyone, and you've got to realize that actually it's cool to not be liked by people, because they're just not on your wavelength, or they don't really get the cut of your jib. That's fine, because what I want to be doing, and it's completely about what Claire's saying about building, you know, building that community, building your tribe, but the people, you want to surround yourself with people that are that have the same sort of core values as you do. Makes it so much nicer, you know, much more supportive, especially if you're, you know, a business owner on your own, effectively. You know, Anwar, Jeremy, you mentioned your focus is in helping driven business owners. Do you target your audience more specifically with your content? For example, niche industry specific, i.e. plumbers, accountants, solicitors. I don't really. It is something that I will probably end up doing, but to be honest, Anwar, I'm at the stage in my YouTube channel where there's so much that I'm doing stuff which is much more general, much more kind of, because there are tools and tactics that kind of work across multiple niches. Do you see what I mean? So, but absolutely, ultimately, you know, I could just work with dentists, I could just work with solicitors or whatever. But actually, I think what's really interesting, actually, well, I say that it's interesting to me, is that the more I go along, the more I come across a lot of people who are in coaching, specifically life coaching, career coaching, actually also a lot of healers. A lot of people in the States seem to resonate with my delivery. And when I started out, I wouldn't have gone, oh yeah, probably lots of people in the US will really like the way I approach things. You know, California, but also, I don't know, the more, once you start to get this data in, and it's about kind of looking at that and going, oh, that's interesting. I didn't set out to go, I want to be, you know, watched by lots of people in the States and watched by people in Australia and a few people in the UK. That's not what it was about. You know, but it's interesting, and it's you know, it's a good way of sort of finding your direction and just refining the direction of travel as you're going along. But no, certainly my instinct would say, and my experience would say, you start slightly broader and then you niche down as you find your path. That's what I would say in terms of that, rather than, because the danger is you could go, right, I'm only going to do stuff to do with plumbers. Now, it could be that the plumbing niche is dead and no one's interested in it, in which case you've spent all that time and effort creating specific content to do with plumbers, and there are no plumbers on that platform, or the plumbing niche isn't a lively one, or they don't have the, you know, if you're trying to sell a plumbing video course or whatever, you know, is there a big enough market just for that? Or is that something that you can go, actually, you can be a plumber, it can be an accountant, it can be a solicitor, all of those people will benefit from that, you know, skill upskilling. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, I'm waffling on a bit, I need to crack on. Who are your audience? So invest time, definitely do that. Never forget that they're people, they're not just stats. And really it's all about your audience. This is why you do what you do. This is whenever you're creating, writing a blog, creating video or whatever, it's got to be because you want to help, genuinely help your people. And you know, it's got to state now, because I've been doing it a while, that I have an image of the people that I'm talking to. Even now I'm visualizing who you are, okay, and I'm visualizing, and it informs what I talk about and the way I talk about it. And I'm hoping you're getting loads of value from it as well, by the way. Anyway, to create a client persona, that is the link there. So if you want to take a little screenshot, businessvideoguide.com, someone very community minded can put the businessvideoguide.com in the chat. That would be super cool. That is basically a downloadable little thing that takes you through the process of how to create and what questions you need to ask about how you create a customer avatar. Client lifetime value, we really briefly talked about this. It's a really critical metric. I'm going to scoot through this because I talked about this before. It basically, you calculate it by taking your average transaction value and multiplying it by the number of times a client typically buys from you. That is what client lifetime value is. You get a number. For example, while we were talking about plumbers, if they get £100 a call out and they do 2 call outs a year to that particular client, and they you know, the client retention is 3 years, then the client lifetime value is £600. Then you do someone who's got maybe a higher ticket thing, which it would be, say, let's say as an accountant, one time a year for 5 years, their CLV for one client is £5,000. You will make different calls, you know, in terms of, do I spend £3,000 on getting a bespoke video made? If you're an accountant and that is your CLV, probably you would. Not sure you'd make the same call if you're a plumber and your CLV was 600 quid. Do you see what I mean? But the point is, you can use CLV to determine your investment level in marketing. Yes, in money, but also by extension in time too, because obviously you need to value your time. You need to know what is your hourly rate. And then is this something that, you know, this is a productivity thing, really. You know, if my hourly rate is £60 an hour, do I really want to be putting the bins out? No, I'm being facetious, but you see what I mean. If it's data entry, I can find someone who can do that for me with Upwork or, you know, some outsourcing kind of website. You know, you need to start to basically think in a more kind of commercial way in that sense. So don't be afraid to outsource, is the point. Right, YouTube itself, 2 billion logged in users per month. That is not including, by the way, browsers that don't have an account. Facebook, by comparison, has got 2.7 billion users per month. But you can't, if you've not logged in, you can't look at Facebook, can you? So there were over 2 billion people. That's a lot of eyes you can get your stuff in front of. It's the second most visited website, the first being Google. And guess what? Google owns YouTube. 1 billion hours of video is watched every single day. Over 50%, 51% of B2B decision makers use YouTube to research purchases, compared to Facebook, boo, 48%, LinkedIn, 33%. Now, obviously, there's a discussion to be had. You know, it really does depend on what you're trying to do, who you're trying to reach, the products you're selling, or the services you're selling, as to which platform you will use, or which, you know, where would be best for your content to go. 70, this is huge, 70% of viewers bought off a brand after seeing it on YouTube. You know, ultimately, YouTube is a search engine. It's not a social platform. Yeah, and what exactly? That's why you need to be taking YouTube seriously. I mean, absolutely do YouTube. I do, for example, because I'm B2B, I do YouTube and I do LinkedIn. I do Facebook, but I kind of ignore that because it's not really working for me. But LinkedIn's brilliant. You know, I can do another thing about LinkedIn maybe another day, but and video. They are very, very pro video, LinkedIn, and it's a really good, it's still a brilliant platform for getting organic reach as well. So if you're B2B, absolutely totally get involved with LinkedIn. But you do, I mean, brilliant, do those newsletters, because they seem to be working very well. But also there's loads of video-y type things that you can create for LinkedIn specifically, like shorty, you know, macro and micro content, and there's a mixture to be done to really engage those people. But LinkedIn is a very powerful thing. But then also YouTube is too, because YouTube is a search engine. People are typing stuff in to Google and then getting served up video search returns. That's powerful stuff. And you will be put in front of those people potentially if you look for the right keywords and you do enough content that's quality enough and answering people's specific questions. After time, your videos will be the ones for those specific keyword search phrases that will get served up as a response, as a solution to someone's problem. That's an amazingly powerful place to be, you know, in terms of as a business owner. Fundamentally, video people on LinkedIn, people on YouTube are in a different mode to the mode that they're in on socials. They are in a question asking mode. They're also probably more, particularly if it's, you know, there are search terms with commercial intent, by which I mean, you know, XYZ product to buy, XYZ product cost. Those search terms demonstrate that that person is wanting to buy or in a position to buy. You just don't get that kind of person on Facebook because they're in a different mental space. Obviously, they've got lots of SEO benefits. YouTube video ranks higher on YouTube, on Google, organic search. And then you optimize your videos so that they are searchable. The other thing massively is that it's the only platform that pays creators for content once you become monetized. I'm not monetized yet, but you could look at that in a broader way and go, okay, I'm not monetized, but actually the people that are coming into my business world, my world, are, you know, it's taking a long time, but I'm telling you what, I'm building up some brilliant, you know, a really, really well qualified audience of people, and I'll just carry on doing it slowly but surely, and you know, I'm going to get there. That's the thing. YouTube content is evergreen. Look at that. This is actually a bit of an old stat, but I mean, it serves to illustrate the point. A tweet, 18 minutes, then it disappears. Facebook post. Well, Facebook post now mainly, and this, I don't want to turn this into a big old rant, anti-Facebook / meta rant, but you create something, you've got to pay to get that to the, you know, a tiny minority of your actual followers will see that an organic post on Facebook now. Anyway, it's hours. Insta, 21 hours. LinkedIn is better, and again, you can recycle stuff on LinkedIn. It's not a you know, it's a platform that I do quite like, I admit, and the stuff does have a longer shelf life than 24 hours. I'm getting engagement 3-4 days later, which is good. Pinterest I don't really know much about, 4 months. Blog obviously years, but YouTube, there it says 20+ days. Do you know what? If you've got if you are creating videos that are evergreen content, it will be years. There's a guy called Sean Cannell who's an amazing YouTube teaching person, and Think Media. I'm going to type there. If you're interested in kit, things like that, how to set things up, go and have a look at Think Media. They're lovely people. They, again, perfect example. They're so dialed in to why they do what they do. They are obviously very good at doing the YouTube stuff, but they are doing it on a mission. There's a reason behind why they're doing it. They are a really good example to me of the sort of blending the opportunity that online YouTube, a really great online business model, works in conjunction with having a really dialed in sense of mission, sense of why they're doing what they're doing. So, you know, that's what you need to get to, I believe, to be really, really successful. But the point is, Sean has got stuff that's on his website that's still delivering him views 6 years later. And also, by the way, in the description, you know, he's got affiliate links. So those videos are still making him money 6 years after the event. Right. I'm going to show you this little video. Dollar Shave Club, if you were here last time, in fact, you know what, I'm not going to bother showing it to you because I did watch it last time. This guy created a video. This is done in 2012. The video cost $4,500. He was selling a subscription razor product, basically. He created this fantastic video, which is very funny. He did some stand-up comedy. He also he worked in marketing, so he was very good at. He was super dialed into who his market was, and he created a really, really good script. I'll share you the YouTube link. You can go and have a watch of the video after it. I would look at it as a very good benchmark of what can be achieved, slightly higher end, but still $4,500 in terms of budget for a video is nothing really in terms of advertising. I mean, ad budgets will start at about £125,000 normally, up to millions, depending on, you know, what they're trying to do. But the point is, this little video, so it's 1.5 minutes long, in the 24 hours it went viral. It generated 12,000 orders in 24 hours. It added $3.5 million in revenue in that year. That was 2012. 10 years later, he sold Dollar Shave Club for $1 billion. Okay, and that all started. It all started from this video, which is phenomenal. And you know, I know it might feel a little bit out of reach, but the point is, if you do it well and you really are dialed into your audience, your why, you know, what you're doing, who you're doing it for, you can do amazing things. Actually, Anwar, no, the video, he got a friend of his, because he was doing comedy. He was, you know, as a side hustle, almost like in the evenings. There was a guy that used to film the stand-up things, and he basically got him to film it. So it wasn't produced by an agency. It was him, a sound man, and a videographer. So you don't need to get an agency involved. That's what I would say. However, what the agencies are good at doing is making you as a business owner go through the process of identifying your audience, working out what your video goals are, putting some strategy behind it. But I say, you know, you can do that yourself. It's not rocket science. It just takes time and dedication to do it. I mean, obviously you can go into London and pay someone, you know, 16, 20 grand to do it for you. Absolutely. If that's what you want to do, absolutely fine. But the point is, actually, most of the time, you know, really videos start in terms of this sort of thing. I could look at producing for about £4,000 to £5,000 in, you know, for creative, for getting all the cameras you need, you know, sorting out the actual shoot logistics itself and all of that. But you can do it yourself on your phone for an awful lot less. You know what I mean? You still have to be really dialed into your audience. You need to, you know, obviously, if you're good at writing and all that, and that is your bag, there's nothing to stop you. That's what's so exciting about now, is that the barriers to entry for creating really good video content have all fallen away. There's everything you need. Your phone, you can edit on iMovie if you're on a Mac, which is free. There are other free editing apps if you're on Windows machine. You know, there are ways of doing stuff for very little money, but maximum effect. This is a more, let's say, this is a more realistic kind of case study, and this is why I sort of include it really. There's a guy called Artisan Electrics. He's got a YouTube channel. It's got 125. So that was 120. That was a few weeks ago. He's now up to 125. I'm looking at 125,000 subscribers. He started in 2016 and has taken it seriously, the YouTube channel, for 2 years. In that time, he's gone from 1 employee, him, to 7 employees, because it's all been powered by these videos been creating. He started with how-to tutorial videos, which are huge. Again, I'll come back to it. It's all about wanting to help your audience. You know, YouTube is a search engine. People are going there because they want to know how to do stuff. Anytime I want to know how to do something, first place I go, YouTube. Watch a video, boom, sorted. And what? Yes, video cost presumably. No way. I guess that $1,000 question is discovering the best practice, most effective ways to do the research. Yeah, absolutely. I will come on to share some research ideas, but effectively, exactly, that is what you're paying the agency to do. You're paying them to know the kind of tricks of the trade in terms of where to look to get audience profile. You're paying them to do the audience profiling as well. You're also probably paying them to do the creative, so writing the script, coming up with ideas and all that kind of thing. But like I say, none of it is super rocket science. It's a case of, you know, if it's not your bag and you don't really want to do it, then it is probably better to outsource it. However, you do need, there is a thing, you know, you will lose a slight element of authenticity, or potentially you could, if you're not careful, by just outsourcing it to someone, because they're not you. That it's not their business. There is something very powerful about you being involved in your own video of your business, because it's your, you know, only you are. It's your baby. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know. I'm all for agencies, but you just need to be aware of, well, obviously the costs and everything else, but there are pros and cons to that approach. Exactly, Mark, right? My fence fell down. What did I do? Looked about how to do fence. In the end, I just thought, I don't have time to do it. I'm just going to get my mate to come and he's doing the fence for me, but I know how to do a, you know, to bury a fence post now. It's all good. Point is, so Artisan Electrics, he filmed it on his phone and he edited it on iMovie, free, right? And he did that until he got to 45,000 subscribers. So he did that for at least a year and a half, 2 years. Okay. So it's not all about, I mean, and what I do for a living, as well as all this goodness, is I film TV shows. Okay. So, and I'm a cameraman by trade. That's where I started. I'm a producer as well, but, you know, it kills me to admit you can actually film on your phone. I'm not here to start selling you to you know, spend £6,000-7,000 on a new camera, you know what I mean, and the lenses and the lighting and da. You just need, it's the content, because the content is what will connect you with your audience. It's not the lens you use. That's aesthetics. It's good, you know, when you get to branding and you look and feel and all that, absolutely. Let's talk about lenses. Let's talk about beautiful cinematic Zeiss prime lenses. I'll talk about that till the cows come home. But right now, if you're starting out, use your phone and think about being dialed into your, you know, helping your audience. He's now in a position where 50% of his leads come from YouTube. 50%. Hundreds of inquiries a month just about EV charging, because he was doing how-to tutorial videos, actually for other electricians as well, about you know, how to install chargers, you know, EV charge points in your house. So then he spun that off and then thought, oh, hang on, there's lots of people asking this question. I'm going to create an online course about how to, as an electrician, how do I install EV charge points? He did that course, and now that's a separate string to his business bow. Fantastic. All because he started doing YouTube videos. It's also a brilliant way of finding your next employees, because fundamentally, if they're, you know, you're filming, it's a connection thing again, isn't it? You're there. People can see you. People can either decide they like you or not like you, whatever. But if they like that, if they resonate with the mission that you're on, then chances are they'd be a really good person ultimately to work with you, because they get what you're about and they get why you're doing it. Let me know in the chat. Well, you have already, so that's good. So we can move on from there. And then why would you think that you would want to bother even? I mean, obviously there's a lot of work involved in creating YouTube content. So just in the chat now, let me know, why would you bother with YouTube as a business owner, and how do you think it can help your business? I'm just wanting to check that some of this stuff that I'm talking about is going into your. Very good, Alan. You get a good boy biscuit. People like to, yes, so they're super brilliant. Yes, YouTube means compound viewership. Also, you get that delightful hockey stick. The more people that watch the stuff, the more you'll get pushed out by the algorithm. All of those things are great. Exactly, shows your videos to many people. Also, the other thing as well is it's all part of that due diligence thing that people do as well, Alan, that, you know, people might sort of know me roughly or say, oh, you know, I fancy getting a video made. Before they even talk to me, they can go to the website, sure, but then they'll go and probably have a look at a lot of videos and get more of a feel for what I'm about and where, you know, the sort of vibe that I'm sort of about. Engagement and brand awareness, absolutely, and what absolutely more evergreen. Good, you all are very engaged, and that's fantastic. Right, let's talk about Mark Rich. You need the window to the world, and yes, YouTube have a massive, it's about the biggest window in the world ever. Right, let's talk about YouTube channel setup. Okay, so for those of you who haven't actually already set something up, and then we'll actually go and look at some real life of your real life channels. So first, let's talk about naming a channel first. You need to tell people in the name of the channel what it's about. Think also about using keywords in your title, but more fundamentally than that, you've got to make it clear and you've got to make it short. You've got to make it easy to spell. And also think about how it translates into different language, because obviously YouTube is international. So don't put something in there. Just check that there's not a rude word in another language or another language that you might market-wise, you might be targeting. Channel banners. So those are the things at the top of the page. I will show you in a second. Make sure it's eye-catching. Make sure it works on the mobile desktop, and keep the main creative. So your name, and ideally you want a human face on the banner as well to increase engagement, but it all needs, that creative needs to be in the middle of it, because when it's on mobile, it looks different. Yeah, don't forget to link to, so many people forget to link to their socials or their website or whatever. Profile picture, it depends what the feel of your channel is, but again, there are so many faceless channels, and in this, I think, and it's just my opinion, that I'm fed up of faceless channels with AI voices, because people, it's just a part of that whole fakeness scenario that I don't really enjoy. Show people your face, you know, humanize your business. Start those relationships, that know, like, and trust building from the word go. The style of the profile picture as well should complement your channel banner, and obviously make sure it chimes with your look and feel in terms of your branding, and it should be clear and recognizable as well. This thing constantly gets forgotten, which is the About tab, and I'll show you what the About tab is in a second when we pop over to one of your channels. Your YouTube channel description should be focused on your audience. What will they get from investing their time in watching your content? What's in it for them? Why should they bother watching, right? That is what you need to be leading with. What's in it for them? Mention how often you're going to upload new content, because it will get them coming back. If you're going to upload on specific days, specify what days they are, and include some lovely juicy keywords in there. So do keyword research. You should be doing this anyway as part of your, you know, marketing strategy, frankly, because whether you're doing blogs, written blogs, or videos, or even in your website, you need to be thinking along these lines. What are people searching for? What are the queries that people are going to be putting into Google? And then you need to be putting those keywords, understanding, are they searched for a lot? What the volumes are like, what the competition's like, and all of that stuff. I talk about how to do that in my previous thing with Saturday School, but it's also, there'll be loads of other things online about, you know, SEO and things like that. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, but you've got to think about this, because ultimately it's a way of categorizing your content, and it allows Google and YouTube to put it in front of the right eyes. So you want to help them do that. You also need to create or include a CTA, a call to action, within the channel subscription. So you need to let the reader of that channel description know, what do they need to do next? Subscribe, visit the website, scratch their head, whatever. You need to tell them, signpost all the time. Whenever you're creating content, at the end of the piece of content, tell the person what to do next. Otherwise, you've created this content and then they disappear off into the ether, never to be seen again. Pointless, wasted your time. But didn't waste their time if there's value in it. But the point is, it becomes less effective, obviously, if you don't tell them what to do. And in terms of YouTube as well, what you're wanting to do is to get people to watch multiple videos, one after the other, after the other. We'll talk about that in a minute. Channel tags. Again, it's YouTube's way of categorizing what your content is about. So generally, channel tags talk about, this channel is about, electricians, electrician hints and tips, whatever it is. Again, keyword research. What are the ones that you could rank for? Either, there will be lots of keywords which are really, really popular and hard to rank for because there's a lot more competition. There are others which tend to be longer, multiple words, keyword phrases that will be easier to climb up the rankings quicker. So that's what you want to help your channel do. So as I say, I'll do a little bit of keyword research and show you how to do that in a minute. Channel trailer, it's a little video that sits as soon as someone's new to your channel. That's what they get shown on the top of your channel. Create one, and again, it automatically plays anytime new visitors come to the channel. Again, think about illustrating in that trailer. You're earning the click, you're earning the view. Tell them what's in it for them. Why should they stick around? Engage, energy, get to the point really quickly, start front loading value, right? They don't care about how many awards you've won or, oh, I'm this, I'm that. They don't care about you. They want their problem solved. How can you help them? Lead with that. Playlists, that's the way that you can organize your content into groups of things on your, hardly anyone does it, or not enough people do it on their YouTube channels. You need to make it easy to navigate, because the easier it is for people to find the information they want on your YouTube channel, the more often they'll come back. And you see that in your statistics and your YouTube stats at the back. Right, let's have a look at some lovely YouTube channels now. When did you do your earlier Saturday school? It was a few weeks ago. It's on their YouTube channel. I'll have a look in a sec for you and I will let you know. But if someone goes on to it's a Saturday school playlist on YouTube, it's in there for the captions. Download a file as possible with specific extension to the right text. So Virginie, bonjour. Captions, use something like I use rev.com, very, very good. Also Temi is an AI one. Also there is Subly, so you need to go to getsubly.com, I think it is. The actual file, thanks Billy, the actual file type is for captions that you want upload to YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook. Very good. Definitely create captions for whatever video you're creating. It's called a .srt file, and effectively it just timestamps your content, and it'll say when at this point in the video this is what this person's talking about. So the .srt file is what you upload to the likes of LinkedIn, Facebook. And when you upload a video natively to those platforms, and YouTube's the same, when you go into the captioning bit, it'll say to you, do you, right, Anthony, I'm going to look at that in a minute. Do you want to upload an SRT file? That is what, that's what you want to upload. That is the type, that's the file extension you want to generate. The other thing with all those Temi, Rev, all of that, or Get Subly, it's a brilliant way of creating multiple types of content at the same time. Obviously, you get the video, you get it transcribed for the captions, and then boom, you've got yourself a lovely blog post. Yeah, you're welcome. Right, let's do a little, let's just go to Anthony. Actually, do you know what, Anthony? I'm sorry that I dissed AI and all the rest of it. The only thing, you do know what? This is really good, Anthony. I am going to have, let's just have a little look at this Google Chrome. There we go. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is Anthony's channel. I won't hate your channel. That is really interesting because there's been a spike in that, in your stats there, 100, so that's good. Off the back of 9 videos. Right, so let's not get too excited straight away. Right, your let's start up here at the top. Your banner tells you what you do. That's good. Also, it's in the right place. It's in the middle. That's fine. I would possibly suggest that it could be done in a little bit of a more of a graphically interesting way, perhaps, if I'm being super horrid to you. I mean, this is coming from a place of support and love, okay, Anthony? Yeah, I mean, also that is very generic. Why? So who are you aiming your video at? It might be digital marketing for accountants or whoever. So, and digital marketing is a massive niche, right? And there's a lot of competition because I'm in it. You need to be more, think about who these videos are really for. I like the fact you've got someone, Matt Lights. Is Anthony, can you tell me what we need to, yeah, can you tell me if you've got a, is the point of these to have affiliate links in and then you make money off that? I'm not quite sure, because all of these people obviously do have products. They're actual marketers. Yeah, my feeling is that you need to be a bit more specific about who you're targeting. Let's see what your description says. Very good. Okay. Okay. Affiliate marketing. Okay, so that's all good. So this is a, so what Anthony's doing here is basically he's creating videos, and then within the videos there are, just so that everyone knows what we're talking about, there will be links. Yeah. And then somewhere in here, presumably you've got, there you go, all these links. And then some of them you'll go, and if you buy the course, then Anthony will get a little kickback for introducing you effectively to that course or whatever it is. Now, the reason I say that AI and faceless channels, I'm not a massive fan of them, just because you're in a massive red sea of lots of other people doing it. So the competition is huge. What makes video unique is the human aspect, your story, like I was saying earlier. So the reason, you know, the reason I would say it'll take you a lot longer, I think, to really find lots and lots of success, and I wish you a lot of success. You're going to have to create an awful lot of videos, I would imagine, to start generating a decent amount of affiliate income. That said, crack on with it. I think that if you're in vision and you're confident to do it yourself, you know, people buy into you as well as the product, if that makes any sense. You know, also, I think particularly at the moment with all the stuff that's going on in Ukraine and Russia, with all of this kind of bot stuff, with fake news and all of that stuff, AI, this is just my opinion, I always slightly bridle when it's not someone telling me in like this is what this, because I'm thinking, well, you're just typing stuff in, you don't know where that's been sourced from, you could be anyone, you know, the trust issue for me, and I'm of a certain age, that's where that, you know, I find that slightly, you know, slightly tricky. However, you know, you're doing all the right things. It's good, decent title. Let's go back. Yeah, I mean, I'd say just be a little bit more specific about who you're targeting and why they should be, what is in it for them. And you mentioned in your about, you know, that there's going to be some emotion. How are you going to get that emotion through with an AI voice would be my question. That's with my producer's hat on. Right, let's have a little quick look. You know, I definitely don't hate that channel. So, you know, let's have a look, Serena. Yeah, let's have a look at you. I'm going to have to wrap up in a second, chaps and chapesses. I hope you found this really interesting. I will share you this rural internet taking absolutely ages, which is fabulous. Right, let's have a look. So, banner doesn't tell me anything about you or what you do, so definitely want to be doing that. Also, just think, you know, chopping heads off and stuff. I would probably look at doing maybe a graphical banner, and you can use Canva for this, right? So just have a play around on Canva, or go into have a look on Fiverr for someone that could help you out with that. Tell me what it's about. What are you doing? What's your angle? Fantastic. That's great that you've done that. Brilliant. You've got your lovely link there. That all looks good. Just make the sort of description really, really dialed into your audience, I would say. With your little profile roundel thing there, it's quite small. So I think, you know, and you've got text in it. So I'd maybe make that your face, if that would be all right for you, I think. And then let's have a look. So basically, upload, this is what I'm talking about, playlists here. So you've literally just got your uploads. I don't know if I'm looking for learning Russian, let's say, then beginners learning Russian would be a great playlist to have here. Think about people coming to your channel. What are the first things they're going to want to know about how to do? You know what I mean? And then maybe go, okay, so there's the beginner's version, and there's like maybe intermediate or whatever. However you work, take them on a journey and categorize your videos in that way, I'd say. This is great. I mean, this is a really cool title, 7 Hidden Secrets of Learning a New Language Quickly. Really good. In terms of titles, think along the lines of headlines. Whenever you're going into, I know Simon says this, but it's really true. Anytime you go into a newsagent or whatever, look at the title, look at the stuff on the newsstands. What kind of language are they using? How are they structuring the titles? How are they engaging you? They're using hooks. That is super hooky. 7 Hidden Secrets of Learning a New Language Quickly. Boom. I'm interested. I want to know that. Do you know what I mean? So I would say, Serena, that is a really strong start, a really strong start. As I say, organize playlists. I've channel keywords, obviously some in Russian, some in Cyrillic, which is great, some in Flemish, brilliant. Awesome, really, really good start. And just do stuff. So that's good. I can see that you're doing it consistently. You try to get to a place where you can do, you know, try and get up to 1 video a week if you possibly can. But I'm loving this kind of thing, the way that you're using, you're a language teacher, but what you're not talking about is verbs, or there's obviously a place for verbs and all the rest of it, but you're talking about an allied subject, which is kind of getting people into, why would you want to learn, you know, one of them could be top 5 reasons to learn a language. Why does learning language make you better at X, Y, and Z? Do you see what I mean? Really good. I mean, again, once you start to get your vibe and into your kind of stroll, into your stride a bit more, what's my life purpose? See, that for me, for this channel, and this is super early days, I can see, you know, so don't take this the wrong way, but is that necessarily what people who are wanting to learn a language are going to want to know? Maybe, maybe not. But as you produce more content, you'll get a feel for where your kind of furrow is, your kind of track, what it is you're about. So I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying, you know, don't confuse people when they come to when they come to your channel about what it's about. It needs to be specific, but that doesn't mean you can't experiment. Try it and see what, I mean, actually not weirdly, but actually that's got the most views, so you know, that's brilliant. But then if you're bringing people in who are kind of life purposey people, are they naturally going to then want to learn a language? Maybe not. They might be, you know, so just think about that. Think about making sure what you're offering, you know, on your channel is kind of aligned with the kind of video content you're creating. That's what I would say. Right, I'm going to scoot back to my other share, because I've basically massively overrun, so I'm going to skedaddle. Hope those were helpful. I'm just going to end the session here, chaps and chapesses. If you would like to go into more detail about keywords or everything to do with creating video for your business, right, from setting your goals, from understanding you know, who your audience is, and you'd like to be, the big thing with all this stuff though, with all of these amazing content, it's about taking action and really and feeling supported in that, and having accountability. If that is something that you're interested in, very quickly go to entrepreneursvideomasterclass.com. It's a little landing page, and it's a course that's the course that I'm going to be running. It's going to be a super small group of people, because I want to do this kind of level of literally going through and unpicking stuff and supporting you into creating the kind of content that people really want to resonate with. So it's about identifying, you know, who you are and what you are as a business owner, what the issues are, what do you want more of in your business, who are you talking to, who do you help as a business, what kind of content are they looking at now, what are the sort of content that, how can you make that content better in your own way with a little bit of secret sauce that you add because of your story and what you're about. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So, you know, if that's something that's that interests you, then please do have a look at that, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about how that course can help you. I'm going to skedaddle right to the, so we've done, I might have to see if I can do a another session, because we were going to talk about all of this good stuff. VidIQ is brilliant as well. Keyword research, I will come back, I promise everyone. I'll ask Max if I can, and we can go through this, because actually I think it is really useful to go and look at actual real people doing real things. Anyway, sorry, I'm just spooling through these at a rate of knots to get to the end where you can connect with me. There you go. Thank you for listening. I'm so sorry I've overrun. I hope you got loads of value from that. I really look forward to hopefully coming back and we can talk about all of that good stuff about keyword research, get sort of more kind of in the trenches with that. Let me know your feedback, and whatever you do, just take action, whatever it is. And whatever, we've talked about quite a lot of stuff, quite sort of meta typey things, you know, in terms of your why and things like that. And some hopefully really useful tactical stuff in terms of, you know, setting up your YouTube channel and things. But whatever you do, please do take action. YouTube resource, my YouTube resource is the bit.ly link there. There's also a LinkedIn business owners video group that I've set up, which I am in a lot. Entrepreneurs Video Masterclass talked about that. Connect with me on LinkedIn. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments. And I really hope to be back at some point and we can carry on my presentation rather than taking your entire weekend up with me prattling on. Thank you so much for your time.
Well done, Jeremy. That was amazing. But we need 3 more hours with you, don't we, to be honest?
I mean, every time.
Every time, Jeremy.
Every time this happens, and it's because I just go tangent.
I know. Well, there you go. There's an art to it, isn't there? An art.
There certainly is.
There is. But you give so much value, which is definitely a plus side. So, yeah, so I think everybody's really enjoyed it. Everyone's like, right, let's Saturday begin now. So connect with Jeremy in all these ways, or one of the ways. So, and obviously it's great going through the case studies and stuff. It's that's what you need, somebody who's got an expert eye on it. Saves you loads of time and all those things. So yeah, so that's brilliant. So thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for coming along. I'm sure you can come back soon. Max. So,
I will do.
If it's next week, it'll be you and I again. I don't know who's on next week apart from me. But yeah, anyway, so thank you, everybody. Thanks for staying to the end. I hope you took some value from today. And I will see you next week for more Saturday School. So enjoy the sun while it lasts. And yeah, take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.